may be on the air, and bada bing, bada boom, I do believe we're good on Spreaker. All right, fellas, now I'm feeling good because I was able to get the show rolling and just fix that problem live on the air at the same time. Let's see. Yep, there we go. Boom. Come on. Go ahead. Give me some kudos for that. All right, guys, seriously. So we're talking Gladiators. Indians took 2 out of 3 this past weekend. Now, we'll talk about how they made a little move here and there. I mean, like I said, 9 of 13. It's not 10 in a row. But then again, it's not 4 in, 4 out, 4 in, 4 out either. So, Indians, I'm going to talk about some Tribe here in the first segment of the show. Browns, man, dress rehearsal, undressed as far as I'm concerned. You know, obviously, it is not, you know, a finished product. I get that. And I'm not one of those guys that sits here in the preseason and says, oh, you know, nothing can change. I get it. Things change and grow and improve throughout the season. I'm just going to preface that by saying there's a lot of room for change and growth when it comes to the Browns this season. So, obviously, I'm not happy with what I saw. I'm sure none of you are. I know the Browns better not be, and we're going to talk about that as Forget the quarterbacks. Forget the offense at all for a second, and they make it easy for you to forget them. The defense. I mean, that's got to be the point that everybody's going, okay, we've got some concerns here. Now, and obviously, you know, and we'll get into it here as we talk momentarily. Obviously, you had 3 frontline guys out. You're missing Des Bryant. You're missing Buster Screen. You're missing Joe Hayden. But guess what? Next man up. Those guys aren't always going to be there during the regular season, too. So, but we're going to talk about all of that, all the news, everything that's going on. And check this out. Last few days, really for the last week or two, we've had so many guests on the show, and we've just had such a hard time opening up the phone lines for you guys. Today, we're going to hit things a little bit differently. My man, Dan Wismar, is going to be with us in the second hour of the show. So guess what? Until then, we're going to leave the phone lines open for you guys. Now, obviously, I can only take them one at a time. So when you want to get in, you got to get in. And you got to listen for when I open them up, which is coming now. I've already got the first caller in queue. But the whole first hour, the phone lines are going to be open for you guys so we can talk Gladiators, Indians, Browns, all of that stuff, everything that's going on. So now let's get rolling because everybody's here. My tune-in people are here. Spreaker, everybody's here. Let's get the party started. Welcome into the Sports Fix. J-Rock, Jerry Myers with you. The Big Daddy on the microphone. The conductor of the madness, if you will. Each and every weekday at noon, live as we do this Sports Fix thing across the Sports Fix radio network. Perhaps that means you're listening to us on TuneIn, and you can hear us now. Maybe you're listening on Spreaker, and I know you guys are working out too. Perhaps you're listening more than that. You're listening live on the sportsfix.net, Mixler, and Spreaker, or you're listening 24/7 on digital delay on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, SoundCloud, all the podcast and download, and all the subscription formats as well. As I say each and every day, and as I just told you, today especially, the first hour, the phones are open for you, and we want to hear from you because you are the voice of this show. 216-539-7535. 216-539-7535 is the number to call. I'll tell you guys what, I've worked on some of the switchboard stuff here on the phone lines, and I do now have the ability to put multiple callers on hold at the same time. But here's the problem with that, is I don't have a return feed for you guys. I have a return feed for one caller. And what that means is right now, the person that's sitting on hold can hear me over their phone, so they don't have to listen on their computer or on their device or however they're listening to the show. They can hear me. I can take a second caller and put it on hold, but you will not get a return feed. And the problem is 99.9% of the time, you think I hung up on you because you don't hear anything on the line, and therefore you don't stay on hold. So if people are understanding of that, and perhaps maybe if I explain this, I can then now begin to have multiple callers on hold, and this way we can fire through the phone calls more rapidly. The problem is that as I've tried that before, and I can do it again, when you get put on hold and you hear nothing, you can't hang up the phone. So I'm just going to throw that out there to you. If that happens, because we're going to try it again this week, if the phone answers and there's nothing there, but it's on, you're on hold. All right, 216-539-7535, the number to call if you can't get through on the phones. Hit us up, Facebook, Twitter, email, 24/7. Facebook.com/thesportsfix. Tweet with us at thesportsfixCLE. Email us, thesportsfix@AOL.com. I'm telling you, you can hear my voice picked up. I'm doing the happy dance right now because I cannot believe that everything went bonkers over there as we were getting on the air. We kicked it off, didn't sound, that bad, and got it fixed within 2 minutes. Man, I'm jamming today. We're feeling good. This is going to be a good addition to the show, you guys. As I said, phones open, Facebook, Twitter, email. Let's do it. Let's get rocking and rolling. Quickly, a couple of things I want to get into, just a couple of reminders for this week. Fantasy football. Those of you that want to get in, it looks like right now I've got at least one spot that's going to be available here. I could have another spot or two, and because we've kind of got a lot of demand, we're playing with the idea of adding an additional 2 teams. Right now, we're going with the 14-team league. However, in the past, we've gone as high as 20. But let me tell you, 20 is like expert level. You have got to – leagues that deep should be illegal because it is impossible to play. But, you know, I don't know if we're going that deep. But I don't have a problem going to 16. So we'll see. But right now, get your entries in, because what I'm doing is I'm piling up the – names of the people that want the few open spots. I'm going to draw them out so that, so it's fair for everybody. And I'll let you know if you're in. And if you're in, I'll send you the invite to the league. It's all online. We're using the ESPN format. The draft will be online. I'll let you guys know later about the prize. But as you know, last year there was a pretty nifty championship belt. This year, we may go with the belt. We may go with the trophy, all kinds of stuff. But there will definitely be a prize at the end of the rainbow for the winner of the Sports Fix Fantasy Football League. A lot of the people that you hear on the air, I know Mike Brandenberry's in it this year with us, a couple of other people. It's going to be a lot of fun, you guys. All you have to do, email thesportsfix@AOL.com. Let me know that you're interested in playing in our fantasy league. No cost to you. We talk about it on the air here, so you'll get to hear your name mentioned and all kinds of stuff. So thesportsfix@AOL.com. Email me. Let me know you want to get in. And as I said, I'll let you guys know as we draw names of the open spots that are available. And I'll talk to you guys more about that. Our draft is a week from tomorrow, so we've got the rest of this week to fill things up and finalize them. Also, Friday, I'm pretty stoked, man. This week, high school football started this past weekend, and that's when you know you're into it now. We're into football all over the place. Buckeyes are kicking things off this weekend. You got high school and Friday night lights going this past weekend, and summer's over. The kids are in school, everything. Summer's over, man. It's over for it. Just began. It just begun, and they took it away from us already. But I'm pretty stoked because with high school football comes a cool opportunity for me personally and professionally. I told you guys a bit about it last week. My very first broadcast doing lead play-by-play for high school football. I have contracted with 1330 AM here in Cleveland, which can be heard it's WINT. It can be heard nationwide at wintradio.com or streamed, much like you listen to the show, on TuneIn and TuneIn's radio app. 1330 is also available on TuneIn. However, we will be broadcasting all season long. They've got a full slate of games for Menor High School, for Eastlake North, for Willoughby South, for several high schools. And there's some really good games and some good matchups on the station. But I will be doing a slate of games, and my first one is this Friday. It's 7 p.m. I'll be calling Eastlake North and Kirtland. But if any of you guys want to listen along, you guys can tweet with me. I'll have the Twitter open while we're going, and you guys can tell me how ridiculous I sound or any of that. Because I got to tell you, I'm a little like, hey, I've never done this before. I'm with it. I'm up for the challenge and the opportunity. It's going to be a lot of fun. Matter of fact, I just got done. Well, I haven't actually talked to him. We've gone back and forth with messages. He's answering my questions without us actually talking. But I've already reached out to Kirtland and talked to their head coach. Of course, they're defending state champions, and I'm waiting to hear back from Coach Bell at Eastlake North and get some background information on these teams. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm fired up for it this Friday, and I can't wait to do it and then come back next Monday, a week from today, and tell you guys about it. And hopefully some of you will listen in and join me and give me a little bit of your time on Friday night and some of your critique and your analysis on what you hear, because this is a first for me too, and I'm with it, man. We're going to rock and roll. So I wanted to drop that out there. Friday, 7 p.m., wintradio.com, 1330 a.m. or 1330 WINT, found on TuneIn, which is your digital radio dial worldwide. Man, all right, let's start chronologically. I don't know. Do we do it alphabetically? How do we start piling through this weekend? Because we talked about it all week, got to Friday, pumped it up. huge sports weekend, big crowds downtown. Let's see, the Indians, 65, 70,000 through the weekend, shuffled their way through there. Another 18-4 for the Gladiators on Saturday, 66 or 61. It was in the 60s. I don't have it right in front of me. The Browns attendance for the exhibition game the other night, truckload of people through it. And, man, I'll tell you, thank goodness for the Indians. Thank goodness for those young Indians that haven't given up on that season yet, because they saved Saturday. I'm just going to tell you, they saved Saturday. They didn't do a good job on Friday. They made it a bad Friday night for all of us, but they made up for it because Saturday was looking ugly. I know it. Everybody wanted to keep showing it to us. Trust me, they kept throwing to the scores, but Gladiators, things did not go well for them as they were blitzed from the get-go and bombed, and it just a great season. They set the records for the most wins and for the best winning percentage and all of that stuff, and you thought maybe, they were billing it as the team of destiny, and how many games did they win? That's why you found yourself in the middle of a blowout not giving up when you're checking the score, or maybe you were watching that game and checking back on the other games, however order you were watching the games. Because of that, it. That's why you could look at the score and they're down 30-13 or whatever it was at one point, and you're like, that's okay. That's nothing. This is arena football. Gladiators can do this. They're down, 72-30 with moments left in the game. No, they can do this. They reached a point where you realize they couldn't, but because of that, because of being like they said, that team of destiny, that's, you thought they had it in them. And Arizona, though, forget destiny. To me, that's the premier franchise over there. We'll talk about the game. We'll get the recap with the stats a little bit later on in the show, but they showed the Gladiators what it's like to be the man. To be the man, you got to beat the man, like Doug and I were saying, and that did not happen. It was still a great season, a great crowd. Like I said, 18,410, and they had the opportunity. But, man, right from the get-go, like I said, the Rattlers showed you why, in my opinion, they're one of the premier franchises. We'll talk more. Like I said, we'll do the ins and outs a little bit later on. We'll get Doug on later in the week. Still, hats off to the Gladiators. A fantastic season. Set the records. Not just set the franchise record, but set the Arena League record for wins and for winning percentage. And that won't be forgotten, whether they got it done in the ArenaBowl or not. And, hey, we'll talk more about the game a little bit later on. And like I said, Dougie will be with us later on in the week. Their cohorts at the Q, the Cavaliers, I don't know. I heard some stuff went down over the weekend with them. I guess, I don't know, some trade was official. They got a guy. They gave away some young talent. What was? Oh, right, the Kevin Love thing that went down officially over the weekend. I mean, it was, everybody knew it was one of the worst kept secrets. Not really secret, just one of the worst kept. Don't talk about that for 30 days. But that is officially over. Everything's all in the books and done tomorrow. Yeah, remember I told you about that Andrew Wiggins press conference that wasn't there when they sent the press release about Kevin Love? Guess what? Big red letters at the top of the press release. Press conference scheduled for, because that's how they do it. That's why I knew the day they drafted Wiggins and then they signed him to that contract, I said, you guys, I'm looking at it from the Cavs did everything but send us a letter in the media saying Andrew Wiggins will never be a member of this team. And sure enough, but I mean, because I told you, everyone comes with the big red letters and it tells you when and where the press conference is. And that one, they didn't even say, we're glad we drafted him. They just sent out a press release that said, we signed Andrew Wiggins to a contract. Have a good day. And I knew right then and there the kid's time was ticking, man. He was never, ever going to be a Cavalier. And that's something we can talk about more with it. But regardless, press conference tomorrow. Kevin Love will be introduced here. Cavaliers, as we all had talked about on Friday with the breakdown when it came out, Anthony Bennett, Andrew Wiggins, and number one pick conveyed from Miami, tossed over to Philadelphia. Thaddeus Young, part of it. Anyways, Minnesota came off good. In my opinion, I don't know. If you're a hoops guy, you can agree with me, or I think you would agree with me. If Minnesota's not really good 3 or 4 years from now, I mean, a young team takes a while, but I mean, they've got the potential now. They got the assets. You got Rubio. They picked up some guys, Levine. They've got they've got the makings in the next few years of developing that young core together. I mean, you guys know my thoughts on Wiggins and Bennett. I mean, I understand the Cavs felt they had